tell we haven't gone quite deep enough yet because we can still see plenty of blue. Let's go 1.3. I'm going to go 1.3 again just to see what it does. Too tight. Scratch bass. Not scratch bass, sorry. Bass at the same setting. Just in case we've any fuzzy bits. Still too tight. Run again at the same setting again, and then we'll have another little check. It's important I get this as good as I can, really, because I want it to fit nicely into the threaded part that I'm going to hold it with when I turn the other side. This time, baby, come on. I reckon that's just a bit too much, to be honest. Although it's just a tiny little bit more out of it to make it match on how it feels on that other hub. It is only a little bit, you know, so I'm at 1.7, I'm going to take it to 1.175, I think. And then we'll call that good. Come on, Al, what are you doing? Now that's going on there really nicely. And there's just a tiniest little bit of play in it, which is a little bit concerning because, let's bring it out a bit, this hub fits in my fixture really well. Yeah, we've got a good bit more play on there. But we're going to have to take it a bit deeper, boys, because what worries me is if it won't screw into the piece I've got in the into the female part in the 3-jaw. Shame, because that's a lovely fit. I think I'm going to take it down to 1.8 and then we're going to have to hope that that's going to be sufficient. Just touching the very bottom of that relief now. Feels about the same as the other one now. I think we'll call that. Right, that's that done. So disengage the half nuts, take that back. Right, what do you want to do to this before you take it out, Al? I think what I might do is just go around these edges with a bit of slightly rough there, with a bit of emery. We'll just get this cleaned up a little bit, make it a little bit softer there, and maybe just over the top of those threads. And then when we've got that done, we'll change chucks and we'll take it out there and get it mounted the other way. Okay, moment of truth, boys. Well, that is a snug fit. It's not taking much to turn it, but if I hadn't took that last bit off, I don't think that would have gone in there. There's no play in it at all. Look. Right, now before we go any further, I think it would be wise to just check and make sure that we've got no run out on the face before we start getting all excited. Tell you what, I was glad to see that. Right, where's my little disc? Now, when I did the first one, and I got it loaded up onto here and spun it, I could see that it was turning out around, which was very disappointing at the beginning. But I suppose what you've got to realise is no matter how good a closer fit you've got with the threads, there is always going to be play there. So what I did, I found this in my scrap bin. I mean, the hole's way too big to be a nice fit on there, but it's big enough to go over, so that was all that really mattered. But what I did, I put it on the surface grinder, because I put this on first, screwed it up, and I could see I got a bit of wobble in this, and I wasn't really sure why. The only thing I could put it down to was the play must have been in the threads. So I put this on the surface grinder, ground one side, flipped it over, ground the other side, so it's perfectly parallel. So that when this goes in here, because what it can do, it can tighten up on the threads and pull itself out of line, can't it? But when it's got that washer there, we've turned this back side concentric to the threads. We know this washer is perfectly flat. Well, as flat as my grinder will do it anyway. So then, I got this little jobby here, which I know in engineering terms might not be the right thing for the job, but here's what you got. And I just literally nipped it best I could. So now what I should be able to show you is, have I got any of the tools still the wrong way around? No, I don't think I have I? Anyway, we've got to machine this thickness here, this diameter here. Where's my other hub? This is the hub that we're trying to replicate, and we've got to cut this groove in here. We haven't got to go to the depth of what that is, because that is where those weights slide in. So, but we've got two depths to hit. We've got from the, when we machine this diameter to the same as this, then we've got to go from, what I did when I did the other one, I went from this depth, from the top of here to the top of there. Then I had to go in further then to the bottom of what it is from there to there, because two different steps. So that's going to be it. So I'm going to stop now and go and have some lunch, and then we'll resume this after lunch, and you'll see now why I turn that down as much as I have, because in fact if I just put a tool in now, I should just show you quickly now before I disappear for some lunch. No, I could if I had one that was, I haven't got one that's facing the right way, but anyway, we'll put that one in. Now I go across, and I get to there, and that's it, that's the end of my travel. So you imagine when that was that big, I couldn't get my tool to go in. I can only just get it now, look. So that was the reason for turning that down to the rough size to start with. And going back to one of the comments when the lad was saying about I could thread this normally but just in reverse, well, you've seen me thread it, you know, as anybody else would thread a left-handed thread. That's not what I was meaning at the beginning of the first video of having to turn this the other way, because now this is on a left-hand thread. If I was to cut this side, the first heavy cut or the first time it bites, it's just going to unscrew out of there, isn't it? But if I spin the lathe in reverse and cut from the back, this is always going to be tightening up into there. Anyway, I hope that's made that a bit clearer. Now it's time to go and have something to eat. I'll see you in a bit. Right, I finished, I turned that OD and I turned this thickness here, because there's no point in filming that really, it's just boring old stuff. So now what I'm going to do is replicate this onto there. And how I'm going to do this is I'm going to turn the distance from this face to that face first, which is, because I haven't written this down yet, what's that, we'll call that 8.1 mil. So that's what we'll do there, and we'll get to, just wipe that bit there clean and I'll write it on there so I don't forget. 8.1. So we'll be going in reverse again. Touch off there. I've zeroed my gauge on bedways there. So 8.1 divided by 25.4, we need to go in 318,000. I'll come back to my 0, 1, 2, 3. That's that done. My gauge there is getting a little bit sticky. I think we'll just put a bit. I always tend to having to spray a bit of brake cleaner on the stem on this gauge every so often. But I don't. You don't want to hold it upside down, so you don't want it going into the gauge itself. Just give that a bit of a wipe. So that's where we want to be turning to. A bit of power on. We'll go at 320 on the revs. Now we're going to be in reverse, obviously. I'm just trying, I can't remember how thick that wants to finish off at. 2.1 mil, I think. Yeah. Well, we'll get close to that and then we'll see where we go. Feed's going the wrong way. We'll try that, shall we? How much of that you're going to be able to see. Let's see if I can do something with the camera. The only problem I've got is it's flicking bits all over the place. I don't want the camera too close. That's as far as I'm going to go. Right, have a look at this camera. Right, let's give that a go, shall we? Ah. It's like the bottom of the tool's going to catch. Basically what I'm going to do is to just keep going backwards and forwards until I get to 0 on my carriage dial, and then that will give us the 8.1 mil deep. Right, we've got that bit turned into there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to use this bit of high-speed steel I've just picked up out of my box. I've never used it for. I've just given it a bit of a. You'll see it better down there when we're in focus. I've just given it a bit of a lick on the diamond plate, and when I've got what I've got to do, I've got to go in 12.8mm from this surface, and to also leave that register bit in the middle. So I'm going to rough out this best I can, and then when I'm done I'm going to finish off with that, which I've just been tickling up on the grinder. We can go in there, take our thin cut down there. So really all I should end up having to do is to clean that corner out and up against the side of this. This will be pretty much to depth. So we can go touch off on there lightly, like so. Zero on the clock. Where's my calculator gone? 12.8mm, wants it. So 12.8, turn it on first, 12.8 divided by 25.4 equals 503 thou. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, that's smack onto that there now. That is. It doesn't leave an awful lot there, does it, when it's finished? So I'm just going to re-zero my clock on the ways. Now I don't know how this is going to work, so you'll just if it turns out to be a bit shit, then that's what we'll have to think of something else. Now that bit in the middle of there, there's no real easy way of measuring this accurately, but I don't think it matters that much. What's that? 32.8. So I'm just going to put a bit of a Sharpie mark as a rough place to stop, so we can check. So we're somewhere near central there in my eyes. I want to machine down to about there, on that sort of line. I'll start to touch that black line, I'll stop, and then when we get a bit of depth into it, we can have another look, can't we? So, yeah. And we'll start there roughly, and we'll see what she does, shall we, boys and girls? Going. Oh, I can just feel that. Just going to zero my what we'll do is we'll come in a bit more. We can fetch that out of there with that narrower tool. So that'll be my new zero. I'm just zeroing the crossfeed dial so I know how far to go back. And what's going on here? Feeds the wrong way. A bit more like it. Well, that's where we started. I don't suppose you're going to be able to see any of this, are you? No. Took a bit of a heavy cut, but This is going to leave me about 5 thou left on the depth, and then we'll change the tool then. There we go. Not too bad. Right, so now we've got to dig all the side of it out now with that tool. What my plan's going to be, get the tool the right way around now, is to, I'll take a reading off there and then set my travel with my travel dial down on the carriage, and then we'll just keep going in until we get this side to the right thickness at the depth, and then we'll come across. We'll do the same here until I get this at the right diameter. So, hope that makes sense. Right, I'll have a bit of more bloody chips on here than I know what to do with. So I'll have a bit of a clean up first before we get to that bit. I've got you set right on the very top of it. This is going to be interesting to say the least, isn't it? Are you going to be able to see anything that's going on? I think what I'm going to do is try and just go in nice and steady and just work my way to that back edge. I've slowed things down to 175. In fact, I'll go down to 130. And I'll try and leave myself about a 5 thou pass to clean up. Sure, there's lots of other ways of doing this. Going to speed her up a little bit more. 175. Let me get you a little bit. I don't know whether you're going to be able to, what you're going to be able to see on this until I get it on the computer. Advancing it a millimetre at a time. Let's squirt a jaw juice and then just watching my gauge on the lathe bed. She's actually cutting that quite well. I'm surprised. Coming back towards the middle now, just on a nice gentle skim. I'll be honest with you, I haven't enjoyed doing this at all. I think most of that's because of the steel, really. It's been a right horrible bloody job. But it is what it is, isn't it? Well, I've got to say, boys, those lines that you can see there, are we on camera? They are, bring you over this way a little bit so you can see in there. The lines that you see in there, they're not really lines, that's as smooth as hell. And that back face, that's nice and smooth as well. Right, we'll move the camera around and we'll have another look. Right, we're going to do the same thing here. I'll go in till I'm nearly touching the bottom. I'll stay about 5 thou off it, and then we're going to come in until I'm just touching, just cutting the edge of that, and that should leave us a couple of mil. So we'll give it a bit of that. Give you boys a bit of that. And we'll just work our way to the middle. We'll keep doing that. I'll come back in a minute because somebody's just turned up. .32/8. We should still have a couple of mil at least to come off. That's 34.78. $32.8 on the money. Right. I've just put just a tiny little cut on there. I've reversed the feed, so when I get to the bottom here, I should be able to engage the power feed and just go back across, because I've still got my carriage dial set up, and that should just clean the bottom up flush with the bit we've already done, like that. That's it. Nice smooth finish. We should be 32.8 in the middle. Not that it matters that much. Yeah, I'll put a little bit extra on, so we're about 32.7. Well, that should be fine. I'm going to break these edges a little bit once we've cut the taper, because the taper's the next thing to do. So that's going to do for now, though, because it's 5 to 6 and it's time to go and make some dinner. So, right, we'll resume this in a bit and hopefully get the bloody thing finished off. I'm sick of it. Now to cook this taper. Let's have things speeded up just a bit. We don't need any power feed. Right, bring you guys in a bit. We'll give it a bit of oil, I think. Just going to put half a mil cut on each time, just to slowly get it out there. So I shall keep doing this until we get somewhere close. Then we'll have another look. I've double checked the tool to make sure it's smack on centre height. And I've touched the tip up, so everything's nice and sharp. I've got the carriage lock on there, just take that off and no, yeah, I can see it's not too bad. Right, I'll carry on and bring you back when I get a bit closer. We're not far off now, chaps. So, this is the arbour I made a few weeks back to hold the thing. So what I've done, I've blued it where it goes into this original hub. And then I've gone with the tip of my scriber and just put a real fine little line in there. I don't know how else to gauge it really, but you can see, can we see that? With about another 1.5 mil to go in, which is not very far, but it doesn't mean you can take that much off the cut because it seems to come really quickly. So I'm going to nip that up, give it a little bit of that, and I'm going to put on a cut of 0.4 of a mil. And we'll see what this comes out like. Not very well when it's not even touching now. Right. 0.4 of a mil. Just come back a little bit. That's pretty much on the money, that is. Right, I'm going to just take a really fine cut, just a few hundredths or a few thou, just to try and get that finishing there a bit better. This is the second hub I've made. The first hub I made out of the same steel, and that went so much easier than this. I don't know why. I don't know if I've cut this off the other end of the bar or not, but this particular bit of steel is just atrocious. I'm not going to make any more. I was going to make 4, possibly 5, but not with this steel. In fact, this may even get binned yet. It depends how this taper turns out. But you have to give it a bit of a go, don't you? So that's 0.1 of a mil I'm taking off there. EN8, EN16, EN24, any of those would have been so much better than this stuff. As I'm cutting this, I can feel it through the handle on the top slide. You can feel it sort of grabbing and jumping. There's no smoothness to it. It's, don't get me wrong, I mean, steel's alright for the right application. It's more agricultural stuff. No good for this. But that finish in there, it's absolutely shocking. And put another 0.1 of a mil on it. Yeah, that's as rough as a badger's arse, that is. Right, I'm gonna call it at that. I'm not gonna mess about with this anymore. It's been an absolute freaking nightmare, to be honest. Take note, boys, if you want to make anything like this, you can quite easily make it. It's not, yeah, it's a bit time consuming, but whatever you do, get some decent bloody steel. Don't make the mistakes I've made. I think what I'll do a bit later on today is, I'm going to go take some trees down now. I might see if I can do something with that inside. If I can make it a little smoother, then that'll make life a bit better. I've got a little relief to cut inside it as well, but I'm really going to be honest, I'm that pissed off with it, I've had enough. So the relief that's inside there, can we see that? Yeah. So on the first hub I made, this taper fitted absolutely bang on. Well, I've got a little bit of play in that, and that's just no good. In fact, this whole thing's scrapped now. Waste of time. But you have to take something from it, and I learnt a lot, and that's about all I can take from this. I won't take it out off the machine yet. I will have one more go at it, maybe tomorrow or the day after, and see if I can make it usable. But I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to prat around with it too much. Finishing there is alright. That finish doesn't look brilliant, but it's nice and smooth. That would polish up. The finish on this side's alright. The threads are nice. It's just this now. And I did hone the tool up as well before I started, so I know it's nice and sharp. It cut the other one alright. Anyway, you live and learn, don't you? So it's not a total loss. I will get it back one way or another. But I think for the time being, I'm all let's just say I'm all hubbed out. So we'll turn the machine off. We'll kill the power, and we'll go and do something a little less taxing. Right, we'll see you next time. Cheers.